Every December, The Economist magazine releases a special issue called The World Ahead. It's not made for you or me, it's made for the global elite. And if history tells us anything, they don't publish these just for fun. Before COVID, before war broke out in Europe, before inflation ran wild, The Economist was already ahead of it, publishing stories, warnings, and symbolic covers that pointed to what was coming. Not loudly, not for the public, hidden in plain sight through this magazine. And the 2026 forecast issue, it's not subtle, it's not hopeful, it's a warning. It shows war, economic breakdown, syringes, pills, protests, the markets collapsing. But that's just the cover. On the inside, The Economist lays out a plan, not a prediction, for a year that could redefine America and possibly what's left of the American dream.
So this is the cover image, and it said the look ahead to 2026, and we're gonna finish. This guy does a brilliant breakdown of it, give you a general overview. We've talked about the digital ID with the what's coming out and how that's going to put us in a prison, but then also the 2030 agenda, and it's you will own nothing and be happy. They have all been saying it. I've been reporting on it. But I didn't know how they were going to do it. But I know this energy lockdown, this COVID 2.0, that is going to be 100 times worse. That is how they are ushering in all these pieces. So you got to, even today, the two videos I did go over all of that so you can understand more about it. But I just want to show you, when I did this review last year, he did it as well in December. And I'm just trying to make this bigger for you guys, just to show you what's on here. Oops. Here. So as you can see, of course, it's the 250-year anniversary of the U.S. And I pointed out at the time, there's a fist and a handcuff, right? You have a game controller and what looks like a brain chips. Like he said, the pills, the economy completely tanking, the currency cracked, done, the rule of law cracked, shredding documents. You can see the needles for pandemic and then war. We had no idea war would start, but I said it has to because this is what they said is going to be coming out. Right. So you have all of these different things on here. And then even I didn't know how this would fit in. It looks like a boat from a ancient civilization, but now we know this is a holy war as well. What's going on with the Temple Mount, and that's really the main agenda as well. There's two agendas, right? To bring in the main agenda is to bring in this one world government. And there's a mechanism at how they're going to do it, which is the Strait of Hormuz war, the energy lockdown, complete surveillance prison. But I couldn't understand it. But now I understand, well, this ties into, I believe, the Temple Mount. This ties into that because what do we know about it? That is the most holiest site for Jews who believe their Messiah is coming right now. They all said it. The Muslims believe their Messiah is coming right now as well. Like they see this as a holy war. I think even Iran, there was something that came out even today where they were talking about this as something, and the title was Majid, right? Because they see the West as the great Satan. They actually believe Trump is the Antichrist, right? And so Majid is the word for their Messiah. Messiah is the name for the Jewish Messiah. Now, currently on the Temple Mount is Al-Aqsa Mosque. And there's a lot that goes into it. That mosque has to go in order for them to build the third temple. I've covered that before, but understand this is a holy war because they want their Messiah, the Antichrist, to come and sit in the third temple and proclaim himself God. And this is where you're going to have to take the mark of the beast and all of that. And I believe just because of their goal, it's like 2030, that is the main thing. That's all going to be wrapped up, meaning all the systems in place, the beast system, everything will be full up and running and ready to go. And so it just rolls out like it's already taking place because they have everything ready. If you've seen, like I said, the things I've covered for the past few months, but the videos I've done today in particular, that's really going to lay that out for you. So I believe that's what it is, but there's just a lot. There's a lot. All right. There's like wine spilling out, robots. We're seeing ice melting, a lot of different things. right? But I want to play this video for you because I never noticed this one thing. So this says Messianic symbol at the center of chaos. Watch this. That should be good enough to see it.
Just found something quite interesting. Now look in the middle at these two swords as I mirror this left side of the image. Take a look right in the middle. Pay attention. Look right there. You get the Freemasonic square and compass. Now I know a lot of people will say, oh, that's a stretch. That's fine. But remember, occultists always use mirror images because it represents the principle of as above, so below. So when you mirror this, you get the Freemasonic square and compass right at the center of all of this chaos. Now, I don't think low-level Masons run the world. I don't think the Mason in your local lodge runs the world. I do think the higher up you go, the more doors are open into, positions of power. So maybe this is just a warning to them or some form of communication to them to, warn Masons that this chaos is happening soon in the world.
So that was in December, and it said this chaos will be happening in the world. Guys, it is happening now. We are living what is on that magazine. We are living what they've planned out, and this is a carefully calculated plan. And most of the world was asleep. The regular people, us, the sheep, that's what they consider us, right? They're their elite, and we're just peasants, to do their bidding. But this is how they want things to be. The depopulation, there is not one facet of life they haven't touched, and they have built the systems, the banks, everything that is just stacked one thing on top of the other. So if you could try to say, let's fight against this, let's fight against this. I can give you a list of 100 things right now that the majority of people do not know about. The majority of people have not paid attention to, that you would have to plow through just to even start to even think about something. It's impossible. It's impossible. And especially with the crisis and all the things that they're going to be putting on us and just wearing us down. We're already worn down. If you've noticed, everyone's worn down. But this is how it was always supposed to be. We know this. The Bible said that the world will get worse, not better. And the one world government had to come in place at some point, right? So all of these layers, as we continue to see them unfold, I want you to pay attention to how they're putting every single piece together for their beast system, every single piece together for the Antichrist, every single piece together for the one world government. Because you don't have to believe it. I've played the video I played earlier. I showed you how Peter Thiel, and he's over at the Vatican talking about the Antichrist today and AI. This is like an obsession of his. And he owns Palantir, who is the governments are around the world are contracted with in order to do the mass surveillance. And he is obsessed with, there's documentaries about it. He's giving speeches. He was in Silicon Valley, was private invite to watch his little movies or something he's doing about the Antichrist. And now he's over there at the Vatican doing it right now. They talk about they're summoning the demons with AI. That we have told stories. This is Elon Musk said, we told stories about how God created us, but no, we're creating God. We've laid that out. They see this as you don't have to, I'll say this, you don't have to believe in the Bible. You don't have to believe in Jesus. You don't have to believe in the Antichrist. You don't have to believe this is a holy war. We live in a spiritual world, but they do. They do. And to not understand how deep this goes and the spiritual layers, well, you're not equipped for battle. You're going in blindfolded, deaf, dumb, no limbs. I'm telling you, you're a zombie. Because that is at the epicenter of all of this, that layer. And that's why I will continue to talk about it, because it lines up perfectly, and they say it out loud. They have been saying it, but it's been dismissed. But I don't think too many people will continue to dismiss it with everything going on.
Because 2026 isn't just another election year, it's the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. And instead of unity, they're forecasting fracture. Instead of prosperity, collapse. And instead of leadership, silence. So today, I'm not just decoding a magazine, I'm revealing what I believe the global elite are preparing for. This isn't conspiracy, this is their publication, their words, their signals. And if you've been feeling like something big is coming, then you need to pay attention. What is The Economist's World Ahead issue? The Economist isn't just another news magazine, it's been in print since 1843. It's based in London with offices scattered around key financial hubs. But don't be fooled by the bland red title or the polite British tone. This is the publication of record for the world's most powerful class, the bankers, the technocrats, the policymakers who don't answer to voters. It's read in Davos, Switzerland by the global elite, the G20. It's controlled by families like the Agnellis and the Rothschilds. And yes, they're still involved.
I just want to show you this. So it says breaking. This just came out. Well, yeah, today. Lynn Forrester de Rothschild sells her 27% stake in The Economist in a major shakeup of the publication's ownership because they don't need it anymore. They don't need it anymore. So it's already done. They're saying because the police went in and raided the Rothschild's bank. Oh, if you don't know that's a psyop, that she's gonna get rid of her stake in it because they really went in and they're gonna be making arrests of the Rothschild family. Really? Now that is the most basic of psyops. That is just to keep, the sheep thinking that something's gonna happen. I even see people like, oh, they see the writing on the wall. Please don't believe any of it. There will be no arrest. There was no real investigation into the Rothschild bank. The bank now, the Rothschild bank is all over the world, every government, every country. What? No, 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 no. That is just for people who are not paying attention to really think something. Our help is coming. The government's going to really do something. Absolutely not.
Evelyn Rothschild chaired the group for nearly 2 decades. The ownership structure today remains unclear, but it's still likely controlled by a handful of legacy interests. This isn't conspiracy, it's public record. Every December, The Economist releases its World Ahead issue, a forecast of what's to come. But over the years, these forecasts have become something else entirely. In 2019, they hinted at global disruption, just months before COVID changed the world. In 2021, the issue spotlighted war, inflation, and social unrest. And weeks later, Russia invaded Ukraine, markets cracked, and protests exploded around the world. And in 2022, they showed Chinese President Xi Jinping on top of the world like a puppet master, signaling a power shift that's now unfolding in real time. Again and again, they don't just describe what might happen, they somehow preview what will happen. And whether that's coincidence or coordination depends on how closely you've been paying attention. This year's 2026 edition, it's not vague, it's not symbolic, it's a straight up forecast for war, collapse, and the elite's managed chaos. What The Economist is telling us about 2026. If you dig past the eerie symbolism on the cover and go straight to the contents inside, a clearer and darker picture starts to emerge. The Economist isn't just warning that 2026 may be a difficult year. They're outlining instability across every major system, economic, political, geopolitical. And they're doing it with the detached calm of someone who's already made peace with the fallout. Let's start with the big one. The collapse of the American dream. 2026 marks America's 250th anniversary, a landmark moment of national reflection. The Economist warns that the year will be defined by widely diverging accounts of America's past, present, and future, signaling deeper fractures rather than celebration. Translation: they're expecting chaos, not celebration, not patriotism, but fracture. They all but say that the great American experiment, at least in its current form, is winding down. And instead of asking, how do we fix this? They ask, who'll take the world's lead afterwards? Is this a new Cold War or something worse? The Economist doesn't dance around this. It asks whether the world is entering a new Cold War, or will a Trump era deal carve the planet into American, Chinese, and Russian spheres of influence? And if that sounds familiar, it should. It's almost identical to the world right before World War II. It also warns of gray zone warfare, cyber attacks, underwater sabotage, Arctic territorial grabs, tactics that let nations escalate without triggering official war declarations. This is exactly what Russia and China have been doing, testing boundaries, seeing what the world will tolerate. Ukraine, Taiwan, Israel, the Middle East, Venezuela, the South China Sea. Every one of these flashpoints is mentioned or implied. The Economist isn't being alarmist. They're measured and calculated. And what they're basically saying is that continued conflict is likely. Economic breakdown. Is a bond crisis coming? Here's where things get even more unsettling. The Economist says wealthy countries, especially the United States, are living beyond their means, and the risk of a bond market crisis is growing. This isn't a fringe opinion, it's a mainstream warning that sovereign debt, the foundation of the global economy, may be on the verge of breaking. They highlight America's massive deficits, growing interest payments, and what they call fiscal illusion fading fast. It's the misconception that you can print, borrow, and inflate forever without consequence, which begs the question, if the bond market breaks, then is the dollar next? And if the dollar breaks, everything changes. They're not just warning about a recession. It's about forecasting the unraveling of a financial order that's existed since the last World War. They also highlight new biotech, cheap weight loss pills, and health surveillance technologies. It sounds innocent enough until you realize how deeply health has become intertwined with politics, behavior, and government compliance. Two giant syringes on the cover, floating pills everywhere. The symbolism is deliberate and unsettling. They also warn about the AI investment boom, suggesting it may cover up a real economic weakness. When AI takes jobs, when money fails, when people lose faith in everything from the dollar to their medical doctor, what happens? They don't say for sure, but they say you should expect it. They don't just show collapse. They almost seem to endorse it, not through what they said, but through what they've showed and what was left unsaid. This doesn't feel like just a warning. It feels more like an unveiling, as if it's a controlled demolition. Collapse creates opportunity, but for who? Here's the truth most people miss. When the system collapses, it doesn't collapse for everyone. Because for the people who built the system, the billionaires, the central bankers, the think tanks, the old money families, collapse is not a threat. It's a business strategy. Why? Because war creates obedience. War is the ultimate excuse to expand government power, to ramp up surveillance, censor dissent, and control movement, all in the name of national security. And the Economist knows this. That's why they frame war as a constant, not an exception. Think about it. If you're afraid, you'll comply. Also, economic panic centralizes control. When financial systems break, the response is always the same. More regulation, more digital tracking, more dependence on government authority. And they get the one thing they've always wanted: control, especially control over your money. And as you already know, a health crisis can shape behavior. During a pandemic, people hand over their freedom willingly. We've already seen it. They obey lockdowns, they accept what the government tells them because of fear. It's already been done, and if it worked once, it can be used again and again. Not necessarily with the same virus, but with the same blueprint. And then comes the real goal. Maybe the reset, a digital dollar, programmable money, a new financial order where what you spend, how you spend, and whether you're allowed to spend depends on whether you're following the rules. We've already seen whispers of this with CBDCs and social credit systems, which are already happening in China. And The Economist, they've been laying the intellectual framework for this kind of system for years. Collapse doesn't affect people at the top, it affects people in the middle, the working class, the savers, the ones who played by the rules. Because when the rules change, it's always after the wealthy have already adjusted. And by the time the average person realizes what's happening, the ladder's already been pulled up. This is your notice. They're not just predicting chaos, the elites are already preparing for it. And they're betting you'll be too distracted, too broke, and too divided to notice. If 2026 really is the year of collapse, like The Economist seems to suggest, then we can't afford to be caught off guard. But let's be clear about something. The Economist isn't prophetic. They're not fortune tellers. They don't need to be. They have something far more powerful: access. Access to real-time global data, the kind that you and I will never see. Access to algorithms that shape markets and sentiment. Access to policymakers who make the rules and write the loopholes. Access to central bankers, think tanks, and corporate insiders. Their editorial staff is made up of world-class analysts, people who see the macro trends before they show up on the evening news. And their prediction? They're not hidden. They're just wrapped in dense language and published quietly, where only those paying attention will notice. They show war, economic breakdown, syringes, pills, protests, the dollar or markets collapsing. And they don't show those things because they're imagining them. They show them because that's where the data leads. And more importantly, because that's where policy decisions are already heading. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm here to try to help you think. If the people at the top are preparing for volatility, disruption, and collapse, then maybe it's time the rest of us stop pretending this is business as usual. And no, you can't fix the system, but you can stop being surprised by it. That's your edge. Live below your means, own real assets, build local strength, and be ready for anything. 2026 is coming. They've shown us what to expect. The rest is up to you. If this video resonated with you, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I make videos like this one to help everyday people see through the noise and protect what matters. And consider supporting the channel with a membership. It really helps out. Thank you so much. And if you want to know how to best survive an economic...
Okay, so again, when did he put this out? He put this out, and let me show his name. Oh, does it show it on here? Hold on. Let me move this over. He had it on the screen. In fact, we'll just rewind it so you can see his name again. But I want you to see it because a shout out to him, and I will link his channel below. Let's see if I can get it to show. It's not going to let me show, but I'll link it below. His name is Noel Lorenzana, CPA. There it is. You can see it kind of right there. Noel Lorenzana, CPA. He does a lot of great videos. And he did this, again, it's going to be too big for you guys. He did this December 5th. And I did mine. I would have to check when I first did it in a live stream. And then I cut that clip of the live stream and put it up for people. But imagine, like, this is just perfectly laying out. Perfectly laying out. I knew it would. But the war is just what tipped it all the way over. And now I'm seeing the pieces play out. But this is what they want, guys. This is what they want. This is why Jesus said in these times we will see nations rising against nations, wars and rumors of wars. And that's going to continue. It's going to be sustained war. We are seeing North Korea jumping in the fray and saying what they're going to do. Russia and China. There's a lot of back noise that people aren't listening to, and multiple nations are now involved, and it is all dealing with this war. For some countries, it's the Strait of Hormuz. Other ones, the big power players, they are making moves and strategic alliances in order to dominate. But that was always the plan, and that's what Jesus said. And that's what he said, do not fear. This was always supposed to happen. But before it gets catastrophic, 7-year tribulation, which we're going to 200 million of Satan's hell riders coming out of hell. Like there's going to be supernatural things, Nephilim, giants, eating people, giant locusts. They're not real locusts. The Bible describes them with a human face, the head of a lion, the body of a horse, claws like a lion, giant wings, and a scorpion's tail. Guys, the four angels at the bottom of the Euphrates will take out a third of humanity just on that. And it talks about the Euphrates drying up, which it is, guys. It's at critically low levels, and people are hearing noises and moanings and crazy things. But see, those are the things that actually make me happy, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is literally playing out as the Bible says. And once again, I will say this. You do not have to believe in any of that, any of the spiritual side, but they all do. That's what you're up against. This is a spiritual battle. And you do not want to be like the sheep, like the lost, who will not see the writing on the wall and will believe in their own strength, believe in somebody's coming to save them, just trying to survive. And then it's going to continue to get worse. But Jesus said that he will save us from that appointed hour. We will not have to face that wrath. We will not have to face that wrath, right? For those who believe in Jesus Christ. So anyway, I'll show you this really quickly. So if you want to support the work that I have going on over here, you can head to realmelanieking.com. I've been showing this one today. And I have this for men and women in different colors, but it's the New World Order map. A New World Order map shows you how all of these different pieces through the years have been coming together to bring us right to this point. Depopulation, the 5G, Bill Gates, cell towers, the election, vaccines, right? It's getting into like our food, the crops, all of it, gold backed currency. So this is a great map to have because it lays it all out. It's a great to show people, to help people understand in these dark times. Now, this does come front and back. So on the back, it says, believe your eyes, not their lies. And again, like I said, all the different colors. I'm not going to show them all right now, and it's for men and women, but this is one way you can help support the work I do here. I don't go no one else's podcast. I don't take any sponsorships because I don't trust anything. I don't trust anything, and God said he's going to provide. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing what God has called me to do. So again, the link for realmelanieking.com will be below, but also other ways that you can support me as just becoming a member to the channel. That helps me keep going, fight back against the censorship. I don't know what's going to come out of the censorship laws and things that are about to just roll out en masse on top of everything else. So who knows, but I will be here till the lights shut off. So I appreciate any support you can give. Again, the links will be below for all of this, as well as Noelle's link and other ways that you can support me. But with that, I will see you guys on the next one.